Welcome to the channel, everybody. My name is Ryan, and we are back with more Unreal World today, beginning a brand new series, the Caveman Series, and we will get into the details of what that means and all of that very shortly. But first things first, guys, if you're new to the Unreal World, it is one of the oldest survival-based RPGs still in active development from 92 to the current day, 2024. So if you guys would like to check this out yourself, I've got the Steam link down in the description, so you can click that and pick it up or put it on your wish list. Also down in the description are all my other series for the Unreal World too. So if you get caught up with this one and you want more to watch, I've got a bunch. So check them out, guys. But anyway, like I said, we are going to be doing a caveman run. Now this is a modded run. Those mods are also linked in the description. Also instructions on how to manually install that should be linked as well. So make it nice and easy for you guys. But the essential theme of this one is no construction more than a shelter. So what that means is we can't build a cabin. We're going to self-impose that rule for ourselves here, and basically that means we have to live in a cave for the rest of our lives, which actually can be a little bit cozier than it sounds. So I hope you guys are excited for this one. I certainly am. I always love bringing you new Unreal World content, and with that said, I do have my Patreon account linked down in the description as well. So if you don't want to wait for the new episodes to be uploaded, you can go check that out. I upload these early to the Patreon, and you can also watch them completely ad-free as well over there. But anyway, guys, thank you so much. Hit that like button going in, subscribe to the channel if you're new, and let's get started with character creation. Alright, and now we are going to go to create a character, custom mode. I'm going to go through this pretty quickly. Again, if you need a more detailed tutorial, I have that link down below in the description. We're going to go for the Sarto clan here, male gender, and the character's name is Weak. There he is. Oh yes, because he's not going to be a very big or strong fellow. No doubt about it. Alright, so what character portrait do we want? Actually, this guy, no offense to the character out there, the model, but yeah, I think he fits it pretty well. Okay, now I am going for a bit of an extreme challenge in this one. You know, what else can we do here in the Unreal World? So we're going to start in the winter, which doesn't necessarily mean there'll be snow on the ground. We'll still be in like late fall, so we might have access to a few berries, but we can definitely look forward to cold weather setting in relatively quickly. Now, here comes one of the most important parts, our physical profile. All I'm focused on here is speed. I'm just going to go through this as quickly as I can until I find somebody who's maxed out on speed. I don't care about anything else for this character. In fact, I kind of hope he is on the weaker and smaller side. But like I said, I'm going to speed through this real quick for you guys because I don't know if it's going to take 10 or 100 different rerolls, but let's go. Well, there we go. Didn't take too long, honestly, and overall he's not a terrible character. Eyesight, hearing, taste, touch, that's unfortunate that those things are low, but honestly that wheel is impressive. Yeah, we're going to have to do some questing, maybe get ourselves in good with the spirit realm, but anyway, let's stay focused here. So speed was most important, and we'll see why here just in a moment, but let's go ahead and move forward. Okay, here's our spells and magic means. Can't do anything to this screen except just kind of look at what we've got to start with. Now, this is an important one. We're going to go all the way to the bottom, and since we just chose custom as opposed to too easy or easy, all we can do is place 5 points. We can't take any out. All we can do is place these. So first things first, I am going to put 1 point in the bow here. All right. Unfortunately, oh, and you can't put more than 1 point in a section. So I can't like try and just max out the bow necessarily. Now, everything else in the combat's going to stay the same. Let's go up to our lore and crafting. I'm going to put 1 into textile craft here. Then we will do, man, he's pretty poor, isn't he? That's what we want. Extreme challenge in more ways than one here. Let's go to timbercraft, hide working. We'll throw one into fishing. Yeah, that's pretty good. He actually has decent agriculture. I mean, he's the most competent at that skill than anything else, you know. Trapping, we'll probably utilize some small traps here and there, but either way, this looks good. This is the best we're going to get right now, so let's go. All right, generating the world. Okay, interesting. Let's put on our... Take off the legend, put on our cultural boundaries. Now, see, he is a part of the Sarto, which I believe is this one here, the gray. Let's pull that legend up again. Oh, that's the Seal tribe. He's part of the purple, or the orange, I'm sorry. Can't get my color straight here. But what we're going to do is re-roll till he gets a little bit more northward, just because I'd love to start where some of these mountains are at. Okay, that's not too bad right there, and I didn't have to re-roll too much. If we just go northward, we're bound to find some good caves up here in all this mountain range. The white, by the way, is what is representing mountains, and the dark green is like a nice open area, so this is pretty perfect up here. We're in between two cultures, all in between three here, really, but yeah, I like this. We'll enter at this point. Okay, now here's why I wanted someone with a very, very high speed. We are going with the Runaway slave start. Considered by many to be the most difficult start in the game. We are essentially started in a combat situation, and we're going to have very little weapons, just a knife to start with, and we won't be fighting them for sure. We're not going to try and go toe-to-toe with half dozen or more Nurpezit. So anyway, enough talking, let's jump into it. Alright, and we immediately zoom in from the world map to the village of our captors. So we're on the local terrain map right now, and I don't see any Nurpezit in front of me. Let's see, can we go into stealth? Yes. Okay, there's some behind us right there, including one guy. He's got his back turned to me, but he'll probably hear me or see me as I start to move away. But it looks like it might be a little bit clear to the north, so let's move in this direction. Okay. Yeah, it says you failed to sneak unnoticeably. So they're definitely alerted to us, but we haven't broken our stealth yet. You can tell just because we're still in that light green cover. But if our character comes out of that, we've lost stealth. Oh, if we can get to that tree line, we might be in good shape. Alternately, if I can just leave by hitting enter. Oh, we did it. So that was an extremely lucky start for a runaway slave. Sometimes it doesn't go that easily, but we did get very, very lucky on that. I didn't even actually have to sprint, which was the whole reason for, focusing on that speed skill. But nonetheless, this will still come in handy when we go hunting, and we'll see that hopefully in the very near future in today's episode, I expect. But for right now, we just want to move away from that village because it is actually a permanent part of the world. If we go look on the actual map, we're going to need to zoom in a little bit here. But it's very hard to see because our dot is on top of it. But there is a tribal settlement right there for the Nurpezit. So we need to avoid this spot. But look at it. Oh, the world opens up as we explore. Yes, let's stand on top of this mountain. Zoom out again. Beautiful. Beautiful. So yes, again, once we go to the map here, you will see that caves are marked by a white triangle. So that's what we're looking for. Alright, and before we actually set off looking for open wilderness or a nice cave to settle into, we've got to check out our inventory. So we've got a broad knife to start with. That's pretty much guaranteed. You're going to get some kind of knife. Doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be broad or good quality, but with that runaway slave, you'll always have a knife to start with and basic clothing. So this is all decent. None of it says rough. We've actually got a full set, and it's definitely not going to be enough to get us through winter. So we need to start making some kills and stuff. But like I said, first things first, let's start to explore the northward area. You can see there's a little bit of ice here. That's a natural lake just covered over with a dusting of ice. If I wouldn't be able to walk on that, it would probably just crack and I would fall to my death. So we will avoid it for now, but at some point we are going to get thirsty. Okay, here we go. We're starting to see some open areas where there's lesser tree cover. I'm also keeping a close eye on my warmth over here. If we get to cold, that's usually when I stop and build a fire to warm up. Oh, I just noticed that. You see it? Oh, look at that. We've got an elk in sight, and it's in an open area, basically. It's on the edge. The forest is just to the south of it. But if we play our cards right, we might be able to run this thing down. And I know it sounds crazy to do this with only a knife, but it is possible. In fact, I've got a whole tutorial video on how to do this kind of endurance or persistence hunting. But anyway, let's head over to that direction and see what we can do with this elk. All right, here we are zoomed into the local terrain map now. I encountered the elk, and it is just right here in front of me. We're going to take a look at it. I always advocate looking at your prey. Keep a constant eye on it. Know its condition. Right now it has no condition. It's totally normal. It's not fatigued at all, but we're about to change that. So I'm not even going to wield a weapon. No need. I'm not going to throw anything at it. We're just going to start running. Okay, there he goes. You can see she's taken off. And, she's kind of turning northward again. Now, obviously, we can't keep pace with a fresh elk. You know, it will be able to disappear off screen, but that's when we need to just start looking for its tracks. We'll follow the tracks here. I'm going to stop sprinting now that I've lost sight of it. Okay, but we want to keep the pressure on it. There it is. Okay, so we just reobtained view of it. Let's hop down there and take a look. Now it's slightly fatigued, so it's got a few more stages to go before it becomes breathless. But once the elk says it's breathless, at that point we can literally just walk right up to it and start to club it until it's dead, and we will basically have it captured. But now I want to spook it again. Let's chase it. Okay. Good news is we actually do have a decent endurance with this character. So he should hold up while sprinting. But we're also very, very light too, which is good. Obviously, the less equipment we have, the easier it is for us to continue our hard sprint. But just following those tracks. Oh, this is not good. So you see the elevation change here on the left side? This indicates to me that there's a forest just beyond here, probably about this area. So, and she's headed right for it. It's possible, though, we can get in between her and the tree line. I mean, sad as it is to say, she is just a big dumb animal, and she might run right back out into the open. There she is, darn it. Right in the corner. Oh, shoot. And she's gone to fatigued, which is kind of the middle state here. This is a crucial point. I'm going to kind of move away from her, not coming directly at her. Look at her just playing around right on that tree line. Oh, she's going into the deep forest. Oh, no. I'm going to go into stealth. Oh, it's almost impossible to track him through the forest. I know it is possible, and I'm not going to give up just yet on this one, but this is an unfortunate turn of events. Well, that first elk definitely got away, unfortunately, as evidenced by the fact that we are starving. Man, if we had caught it, we could have gotten ahead of this, but that's okay. Starvation, you've got like 3 weeks of in-game time before you die of starvation. Although it has started to affect our physical performance a little bit, but we're still in good shape. We can still chase down creatures, and that is good, because I've come across the second elk for today. So this is a good time of the year, apparently, for them. At least, I mean, we're getting lucky here. Although I have not found any caves yet. I'll just mention that before we get into the hunt. All these white dots are mountains, not a single cave, but I haven't given up hope. So let's move in here. Now, again, we're by the edge of the forest. Ooh, this is a big male here. Check him out. So, yeah, it would be ideal if I could get him to run southward, but obviously we're in a terrible spot for that. Let's go ahead and just try and get around him. I'm going to move off. Okay. See, if you don't go right at them, they don't necessarily get spooked right away. Although, okay, he's moving now. I'm just moving away from you, buddy. Don't pay any attention. He is staring right at me, though, so I can't hide or anything. I would stealth, but this looks like it's working. Alright, so yeah, okay. If we can just get him to go southward, we'll be in good shape. Let's try and get between him. Alright, it's time to sprint at him. Start sprinting and yelling. There he goes. Alright, he's taking off. And we just rinse and repeat like the last one. As soon as I lose sight of him, I'll typically sprint a little bit more, but then as soon as I gain sight of those tracks, I stop sprinting and just keep going until I reacquire him. There he is. Take a look. Slightly fatigued. There we go. So just continue the process till we get him breathless, hopefully. Okay, now this is very promising here. I'm going to zoom in just a little bit, but I do need to be fully zoomed out when hunting. I've mentioned that before in previous seasons just for max visibility. But here he is. Let's take a quick look at him. And the reason I brought you guys back, he's fatigued, that's great. But see these ponds and bodies of water here? They obviously have little ways to get through them, but the animals like this will often get kind of flustered and confused, and sometimes they'll just start turning around and get themselves really worn out. So I'm just going to continue on, see how he's, yeah, see him, he's trying to turn around. Even though he could easily get out through one of these little archipelagos or peninsula things right here, he's just messing around right in that corner. So let's keep running at him. Let's look at him again. He's probably got himself to very fatigued. Yep. So he's basically one stage away from breathless. Look at this. We're literally running with him now. Yep. I am fast enough that I can basically keep up with him at this speed. Yeah, we'll go ahead and zoom in. I might have to zoom out, but then again, maybe not. What we do need to do is go ahead and wield our knife. I will need that to eventually take him down, so let's get prepared. There he goes. Oh, he's trying. He's breathless now. I can tell he just lost a step. Yep, he's breathless. So that's perfect. In fact, I can probably stop sprinting myself and just walk and keep up with him now. Yep, look at this. Gorgeous. Like I said, that bodies of water like that are really, really helpful. You don't even really need to truly cut him off. Okay, so we are now in melee range. I'm going to hit him with my broad knife, but very specific part of the body. I always go for the legs in these situations, and I always use my blunt, so that basically the handle here, the blunt will prevent the skin from being damaged. If I were to cut him or poke him, that's going to hurt the fur quality overall. And if you do it too much, you can damage the fur beyond use. But if we use blunt, it won't damage the fur at all. And by taking him out in the legs, it's a slower process. It's obviously less lethal, but it kind of staggers him, so he doesn't have a chance to move. He falls and he has to get back up, so it kind of cancels his turn. As long as we hit him, it's possible to miss, of course, and then maybe he'll move away, but you just keep going at him. All right, I'm just repeating the same command. There you go. I missed, so he was able to kind of move away, but now I get back into melee because he's super tired, and I just continue to thrust at him. Move forward. Keeping in mind too, every time we swing our weapon, it also makes me a little bit more tired too, but I think we've got him beat. There it is. Alright, he's on the ground, so I'm going to change it up. I'm going to still go with the blunt, but I'm going to hit him in the head now. Start trying to knock him unconscious. We just did it. One hit, he's unconscious. Blunt to the skull again. I'm not going to cut his throat. That might damage the fur. I'm just going to bash his skull. There it is. And he is now dead. Haha. We have done it. Our first big kill, and we didn't even fire a shot. That is amazing. Now, I am going to go ahead and set up a shelter. Oh, look, there's a log just north of us. That's perfect. We'll need that for preparing the skin. But I'm going to grab some branches from this tree, which is good. Now, like I said, no cabins, but we can build shelters. It's pretty much necessary in a situation like this. With the little bit of clothing we have on, and of course winter setting in, I'm going to want to set up a warm place right next to this animal before we even start to skin or butcher him at all. Alright, well, I've set up a little camp here, And as you can see, I went ahead and drug the bull carcass literally into my shelter. I like to set up the shelter right next to a tree and a water source if possible, just like this, so I can easily get branches for fires and stuff, and I don't have to move to drink or anything like that. But having the bull right in the shelter too, of course, keep us warm, because a big animal like this, it's going to take a while to skin it, butcher it, and start to smoke it and everything. So, man, I tell you, you think that the hunt is the hard part. It's not. Once the animal is killed, that's when the real work starts. But thank goodness now the worst thing we have to worry about is some of this meat going rotten if I don't get it all prepared quick enough. So there's a lot of things we got to take care of. I don't even have any cordage whatsoever, so that's going to be a big one for getting the meat dried. We're going to need that too. But of course, the first thing we're going to do once we get a butcher to start a roaring fire and cook ourselves some delicious elk meat, because my guy is starving. But that's going to be taken care of, so don't worry about that. I think we're going to save all the processing, skinning, butchering, cooking for the next episode, guys. So I think this is probably a good spot to end it here. The very first episode of our Caveman series. Maybe in the next one we'll be able to find that cave we're looking for. But like I said, we got a lot of work to do here, so no worries, guys. Thank you so much for joining me for my newest series in the Unreal world. I hope you've enjoyed so far. Hit that like button down below if you did. Leave me some comments. I love hearing from you guys, of course. And I should mention my pacifist series, my previous one, which failed abruptly. I do plan on doing that kind of a series again, but I just wanted to mix it up. So I just want to remind everybody of that, so don't worry. We will be revisiting John the Farmer. Maybe one of his descendants will pick up that pacifist mantle. And one last thing, guys, of course, I am posting these videos early to my Patreon account. I just want to mention that again. So if you feel like supporting the channel, of course, it helps me tremendously, and you do get access to the early content ad-free, as well as, I should mention, a Discord server that's private just for me and your fellow Patreons if you decide to donate. But anyway, guys, thank you so much once again, and I will see you all on the next one.